When it's time to do something different, do you do it or do you contemplate it for days and days? Do you mull it over? Because what are you losing when you're still in the same situation? Let's talk about that. Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Ann Homick, and I'm from Homick Advanced Chiropractic. This is Brain Snob, episode 26. Everyone should be a brain snob. It is not an insult. It is a high compliment, meaning you know how the brain works. So you can really harness that brain for amazing experiences. Because your brain makes your body and you make your life. A burdened brain is lost talent, not to mention a disease magnet. But a performing brain can change the world. So now we can see how certain health concerns translate to brain care, the BFA protocol, brain first always. It is the master system, so let's start right at the top. Come to the office and get your BFA template and the roadmap for the healing journey. So I ask people, when it's time to do something different, do you do it? How do you make that decision? It does require courage, I suppose, and you don't always have a guarantee. I'd like to think doing things that are healthier just makes sense. It's a no-brainer, pardon the pun, but we do have to rely on the brain. We're here to focus on the brain. I ask people to look at health from the perspective of the brain. It doesn't matter what part of your body is bothering you or what your concern is, because usually it's very focal. There's one area of your body that's getting all the attention, getting the negative attention. And I like people to get away from that momentarily and concentrate on the brain. Meaning, what is the brain perceiving and what is the brain, how is the brain responding? That's all about the react-reset mechanism. Your brain decides if something needs to be attended to, and your brain hopefully is doing the correct thing to maintain balance and maintain homeostasis. The problem begins when that homeostasis ability is getting run down, exhausted, and fatigued, and stress builds up. The body's pretty good at accommodating or compensating, and things might even look normal for a while. When compensations are occurring, you think everything's A-okay, but the breakdown below the surface is happening. I call that the dam breaking. The water's slowly rising, but it's no big deal. The water is still behind the dam, so it's not a concern, but it's a problem. When that dam breaks and the water is moving, that's when things are a little bit too late. So from the brain's perspective, is it perceiving things appropriately? Is it perceiving things correctly? Because if the brain thinks something bad is happening, it's going to react the wrong way. And that's where we get a lot of chronic pain, and we get a lot of chronic issues that don't respond to the typical attempts of care that we try. And so we have to look at the brain in a different manner and tweak it. And that's what we do with the BFA protocol. So some examples of being different, because I ask you to be different. You have to do something different. The same old is not working. It may seem to be working, but it's running out of steam. So we need to be different. So I ask people to get adjusted for brain maintenance. That's a completely new message to people. Brain maintenance, what's that? It's stuck here under the skull. What kind of control do I have over my brain? You have a lot of control. You can nurture the brain so it does what it's meant to do. Yeah, it's under the skull. That's why we're so creative. And we work on the BFA protocol of moving the brain, feeding the brain, and talking to the brain. And we can do this in neat ways. So get adjusted for brain maintenance. We know brain waves automatically calm right down after every adjustment. This has been researched and studied. And you need your brain waves in the right level of frequency activity for cognition, metabolism, and healing. We got to get them back to the right place. And modern living and stress, our brain waves are woo, 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 woo. They're all over the place. We got to corral them in. We got to get those brain waves back into balance. I also ask people to be very choosy when you pick your supplements. I've got my favorites, and I'll tell you all about them when you're in the office. And I am very biased. Of course, you have to be. You have to pick what side of stubborn you're going to stand on. Here's the hint. You're not going to find it on TV commercials. That's mass marketing, and the quality isn't going to be there. So I ask you to be different. Don't look at the TV to answer your health questions. Actually, go off the path less traveled. And what is that? That's going to be in an office like mine, where we focus on brain health and how the nervous system regulates the body. The path less traveled is usually going to be the one that is the most individualistic, the most unique. And we need unique in this part of history that you're living in. I also ask you to be different in this manner. Stay away from anti-nutrients. We call everything food. If you go into a grocery store and you think food, that aisle has food, that aisle has food, 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 all the way to the back walls, whatever may be there, dairy, meat, we call it all food. It's not food. Let's call it what it really is, anti-nutrients. So I'm speaking about lectins, phytates, gliadins, oxalates. There's something else I'm forgetting. There's got to be something else. And they are occupied mostly with grains, sugars, and seed oils. So I ask people to avoid that. That's pretty hard to do because most everything we have at our fingertips is not food. And so I ask you to be different. Look at things with a different set of eyes when you choose your foods, because I ask you to choose your fuel wisely. There's fuel that's dirty fuel, and there is a fuel that's clean fuel. And I think I mentioned that in a couple videos way back near the beginning, and I will mention it again very soon. So I ask you to do something different. If something you've been doing over and over and over again isn't working, be different. Oh my gosh, that means being drastic, because anything new to your brain and your perception is going to be seen as drastic. Unless it's healing, your body soaks it up and loves it. There's a little bit of adjusting. I do have to warn people, when you're healing, things sometimes feel a little rough and tumbly as the body's getting back to the proper homeostasis it needs. So being different is drastic. Doing different things scares the you-know-what out of people. And then your friends look at you and say, "What are you doing?" Because now you are standing out of your own social group. And you're trying to convince them and talk to them. Drastic is difficult, and we need to support each other, and that's what we also do at my office, part of our BFA protocol. And so it takes work. It takes a completely new mode of activity, and it's too drastic. But that's how you rewire the brain. You show your brain and introduce your brain something completely different. And that sets a new path of rewiring. Speaking of path, if you walk down the same path day after day after day, the grass gets trampled, and soon there's just dirt, and then there's a hard, packed ground. And that's when you have wired something so efficiently that now you can just walk down that path and it's easy. You're not sinking into the soil. You're not slushing around and getting your legs tired because it's deep. It's hard packed, it's dry, and you're walking. The new path is going to take work. You gotta walk on the plants, you've got to kick the weeds aside. If you've got thick twigs, you've got to really stomp on them to get your new path established. So you're going to see brush in the way. I call that the roadblocks. Things might get muddy, things might get dirty until that new path is established where you walk down it with ease. So we want new paths because that makes some of the walking trips a little bit more efficient, quicker. That's the neat thing about the brain. We can do new wiring. We can reinforce the patterns that are effective and the patterns that we like, and we can erase the patterns that we don't like. And we want to keep it fresh. That's what keeps the brain healthy. So I ask people to find a new mode of activity. I'm asking you to do something new to your body, new to your perception, new to your memory bank. It's not going to jive with what's stored in the memory. And that's when the brain says, what? What? But we can ease in with these new patterns. It works. It works. I think staying sick, tired, and depressed, to me, that's drastic. Staying that way is not our purpose. It's not our purpose to be pathetic. I don't want to see unneeded suffering. And a lot of what we do to ourselves is not necessary. We do silly things. We do things that really harm our bodies. And it's not your purpose. That's why my website is called createpurpose.com. The Brain First Always protocol is designed to be intentional. You've got to be intentional with your brain. Don't let things just happen by accident and hope for the best. I want you to think and enjoy the journey, enjoy the challenge. So, let's dive into a better future with a better brain. Learn how to move, feed, and talk to your brain. How do we do that? You visit the office. You read my blog. It's called createpurpose.com. Watch the orientation video. Start a conversation in the comments section. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell for notifications because new videos are coming. Be on the lookout for them. Become a brain snob so you can be that positive ripple effect in your community. Thanks for watching.